picture this. You are leaning over the bathroom sink. It's late, you're exhausted, and you just want to crawl under the covers.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
Right. You're just going through the motions of your nighttime routine on total autopilot. You finish brushing your teeth, you lean forward, you spit out your toothpaste, and there it is.
Yep.
That familiar, very subtle tinge of pink just swirling down the drain. Pink in the sink.
It is an incredibly vivid image, honestly, for the simple reason that almost everyone has experienced it. I mean, you might have even seen that pink foam this morning.
Totally. And, like, the craziest part is how we react to it. You see it, you rinse the sink, and you don't even give it a second thought.
Not at all.
You just turn off the light and go to bed. Because it happens so often to so many people, we have this collective unspoken assumption that it's just, a regular part of having teeth.
Like it's just the cost of doing business in the mouth.
Exactly. But we have a stack of fascinating sources in front of us today for this deep dive. We've got a mix of clinical dental hygiene literature, some microbiological research on oral biofilms, and specialized care guidelines provided by the clinical team at My Gentle Dentist Brookside.
A really comprehensive set of data.
Yeah, it really is. And the mission for this deep dive is to answer a really simple but honestly crucial question. Is seeing that pink actually normal? And if it's not, what is physically happening inside our mouths when we see it?
Well, to get to the bottom of that, we have to confront a major blind spot in how we perceive our own biology.
Okay.
We routinely conflate the concept of something being statistically common with it being biologically healthy.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Right. I mean, millions of people see pink in a sink every day,
Yeah.
so we rationalize it. We tell ourselves, oh, our gums are just a little sensitive today.
Or maybe I just bumped an awkward spot with the toothbrush.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the core thesis running through all these clinical protocols, it just hits you right between the eyes.
It really does not pull punches.
No, it is unequivocally clear on this point. While bleeding gums are incredibly common, it is neither normal nor healthy for your gums to bleed, period.
Biologically speaking, healthy human tissue does not spontaneously bleed from routine daily friction.
Right.
Think about it like this. If you were washing your hands with a soft cloth and your knuckles started bleeding every single time you scrubbed them,
Oh, wow.
you wouldn't just rinse the sink and go to bed, right? You would be highly alarmed.
I would be terrified. I'd be booking a doctor's appointment for the very next morning.
Exactly. But because this bleeding happens in the mouth, a place we can't easily observe, and because it happens to our friends and family too, we've just normalized it.
We just accept it.
Yeah, we've normalized a symptom that operates as an active biological warning sign. If healthy gums do not bleed and your gums are bleeding, there are specific, mechanical and biological triggers causing that tissue to fail.
Which means we need to look at the root cause. If bleeding isn't just standard wear and tear, there must be a biological catalyst triggering this vulnerability before we even pick up our toothbrushes.
Right.
We have to examine what the clinical literature calls the bacterial battlefield.
Yeah, and the primary condition we are looking at here is gingivitis, which is the earliest stage of gum disease.
Okay.
And the entire process begins with plaque. Now, people hear the word plaque and often assume it's just food debris,
Like a lingering piece of bread from lunch.
Exactly. But in microbiological terms, plaque is a highly organized, sticky film of living bacteria.
Wait, so it's not just food, it's an actual living colony.
A rapidly multiplying biofilm.
Yikes.
Yeah. And when you don't thoroughly disrupt and remove this sticky film through brushing and flossing, it basically sets up camp directly on the gum line.
Just right there against the tissue.
Yep. And because it is a living colony of bacteria, it is constantly feeding. And as it feeds, it's producing these acidic byproducts and toxins.
So it's not just passively sitting there?
Not at all. It actively irritates the gingival tissue. The gums react to this constant toxic bacterial presence by becoming red, inflamed, and heavily swollen.
And I imagine that swelling is the issue.
It is. It is that exact swelling that makes them highly prone to bleeding.
Wait, I need to visualize this to really understand the stakes here. Let's think of that sticky plaque like a corrosive dust settling on a really delicate vintage picture frame.
Okay, I like that.
Like if it's just a little bit of normal household dust, you blow it off, no harm done. but this is a corrosive acidic dust.
Right?
If you let it just sit there on the wood, pressed right up against the finish day after day, it doesn't matter that the dust itself is microscopic. The chemical nature of it is eventually going to eat away at the
Oh,
varnish.
absolutely.
The wood is going to degrade simply because the irritant was left in continuous contact with the surface.
Taking that picture frame analogy further, it really emphasizes the element of time and prolonged contact.
Yeah, the longer it sits, the worse it gets.
Exactly. It is the uninterrupted exposure to the bacterial toxins that causes the localized breakdown of the tissue.
But I'm genuinely confused about something here. If this sticky film of bacteria is naturally occurring if the oral cavity is naturally full of bacteria and this film is always forming no matter what we do, aren't we just fighting a losing battle?
It can definitely feel that way.
Yeah, why are the gums reacting so violently with all this redness and swelling? It seems like an extreme overreaction by the body to something that naturally lives in our mouths.
Well, what's fascinating here is that the redness and swelling are not a sign of weakness or an overreaction at all.
They aren't.
No, they are the mechanics of the body's localized alarm system kicking into high gear. The immune system is doing exactly what it evolved to do.
Okay, walk me through that.
So when that corrosive bacterial plaque sits on the gum line and starts releasing toxins, the body recognizes that foreign, potentially harmful invaders are massing at the border.
So the swelling is actually the body sending in reinforcements to fight the bacteria.
Precisely. That redness and swelling is called vasodilation. Your body is literally expanding the blood vessels in that specific area to increase blood flow.
Oh, I see.
It is rushing white blood cells, plasma, and inflammatory mediators straight to the gum line to neutralize the bacterial toxins.
So it's puffing up on purpose.
Yeah, the gum tissue swells up because it is physically engorged with all this extra fluid and blood, preparing for microscopic combat.
That's wild.
But there is a direct trade-off. Because that tissue is now stretched tight and packed with extra blood, it becomes incredibly fragile.
Oh.
It is sitting right on a hair trigger, basically waiting for any kind of friction to break the surface.
Man, that completely shifts the perspective. The gums aren't just magically weak or inherently defective.
Not at all.
They are inflamed and fragile because they are in the middle of an active immune response to the bacteria we failed to sweep away.
You nailed it.
Which makes the next part of this deep dive almost tragic. Once you understand that the gums are already in this highly irritated, engorged state, you start to see how our own daily, well-intentioned hygiene habits can accidentally turn into mechanical sabotage.
Yes, mechanical sabotage. That concept explains so much about why people struggle with oral health. Think about the basic psychology of cleaning. What is our natural instinct when we want to get a surface really, really clean?
We scrub. We just put some elbow grease into it.
We channel our inner lumberjack.
Yeah, exactly.
And the clinical guidelines highlight aggressive brushing as a primary culprit in this bleeding cycle.
People just going to town on their teeth.
Right. People routinely use a hard bristled toothbrush or they apply an excessive amount of manual force. There is this deeply ingrained psychological assumption that if you scrub harder, the teeth will get cleaner and brighter.
More friction equals more clean.
That's the myth.
Yeah.
But consider the physical state of the gums we just discussed. They are swollen, they are stretched thin, and they are packed with extra blood, fighting off an infection.
So it's the worst possible time to scrub them.
Exactly. When you take hard, rigid bristles and drag them across that specific tissue with heavy force, you are not cleaning it. You are physically lacerating the delicate gum tissue.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because that lumberjack instinct goes completely against what the material requires. It's like finding a stain on a really delicate silk shirt.
Okay, yeah.
And deciding the best way to handle it is to grab a wire brush from the garage and scrub the silk as hard as you can.
That is a perfect way to put it.
You aren't actually cleaning the shirt at that point. You are literally destroying the fabric. The harder you work, the faster you ruin it.
And that microscopic tearing of the fabric is why you see the sudden rush of pink in the sink. You've taken an aggressive tool to an inflamed area and simply broken the skin.
But brushing isn't the only way we sabotage ourselves, is it? The hygiene protocols also dive into flossing, specifically the phenomenon of flossing inconsistency. And honestly, this section is going to hit home for a lot of people. It describes the notorious habit of the occasional flosser. We all know the drill.
We do.
It's the person who remembers they have a dental checkup in 3 days, so they suddenly floss with incredible aggression for 72 hours.
And then the floss goes right back in the drawer for the next 6 months.
Exactly.
The cycle of the occasional flosser is universally recognized in dental clinics. The mechanics of why this sporadic behavior causes bleeding are essential to grasp, though.
Let's hear it.
So if you only floss occasionally, your interdental gums, which are the little triangles of tissue between your teeth, they simply aren't adapted to that kind of physical stimulation.
They aren't used to it.
Right. You introduce this foreign tight thread between the teeth, you snap it down against the fragile, unchecked, inflamed gum tissue, and naturally it bleeds instantly.
But this triggers a huge contradiction in basic human survival instincts. When people are flossing and they suddenly see blood pooling between their teeth, their brain screams at them to stop.
Oh, of course.
The instinct is, I am hurting myself, this is causing damage, I need to stop flossing right now. But the clinical evidence tells us the exact opposite.
It does.
It suggests that the bleeding is a sign we actually need to push through and do it more consistently.
Yes, and it requires a massive paradigm shift in how we interpret pain and bleeding.
I'll say.
The protocols demonstrate that if a patient commits to flossing daily for just a week or two, the bleeding almost always stops completely.
Wait, really? It only takes a week or two for the body to sort it out?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Because committing to daily flossing accomplishes two critical biological tasks simultaneously.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, you are mechanically disrupting and removing that sticky biofilm of bacteria from the tight spaces the toothbrush just can't reach.
Sweeping away the dust.
Exactly. Once the bacteria and their toxins are consistently swept away, the immune system realizes the threat is gone. It turns off the alarm system.
Oh, nice.
The vasodilation stops, the extra blood retreats, and the swelling goes down.
So the tissue naturally shrinks back to its normal, tight state.
Right. And the second thing happening is adaptation.
Adaptation.
Yeah. You are providing regular, healthy stimulation to the tissue. Think about building calluses on your hands from lifting weights.
Right. At first, the skin is super soft and prone to blistering.
Exactly. But with consistent, repeated friction, the skin adapts and builds resilience. Consistent, gentle flossing encourages a similar process called keratinization in the gum tissue.
Keratinization. Got it.
The tissue becomes firmer, tighter, and entirely resistant to the daily friction of the floss. But to get to that healthy baseline, you just have to push through that initial week where the tissue is still swollen and fragile.
So we have a clear picture of the culprits here. We have the biological battlefield where bacteria trigger inflammation, and we have the mechanical sabotage where we make things worse by scrubbing too hard with the wrong brushes or traumatizing our gums with sporadic flossing.
That sums it up perfectly.
The obvious question now is how we break this destructive cycle. How do we get back to the foundational rule that healthy gums do not bleed?
It requires initiating a comprehensive routine reset. And based on the care guidelines, this reset is fundamentally a two-part process.
Okay.
There's the at-home solution, and there's the professional clinical solution. They are entirely interdependent, so you cannot achieve lasting oral health with just one or the other.
Let's focus on the bathroom sink first. What changes at home?
At home, patients have to establish a completely different mechanical routine. The hard bristles have to go immediately.
Right in the trash.
Absolutely. The guidelines specifically direct patients to switch to gentle brushing, using only a soft bristled brush. You have to treat the gums exactly like that delicate silk shirt we talked about.
Soft sweeps.
Yes, soft sweeps and gentle pressure. The modern philosophy of brushing is to let the ends of the bristles do the work, not the muscles in your arm.
No lumberjacks allowed.
Exactly. And you absolutely must pair that gentle brushing with the commitment to daily flossing, to give the interdental gums that necessary stimulation and adaptation period.
Okay, soft brush, gentle pressure, daily flossing. On paper, that sounds incredibly simple, but the literature throws a massive wrench into this at-home plan.
It really does.
It reveals a strict biological limitation to what we can physically accomplish in our own bathrooms, regardless of how great our routine becomes.
This is exactly where so many patients hit a wall of frustration. They make the switch, they buy the soft brush, they start flossing every single night, but their gums remain red, puffy, and prone to bleeding.
Because of the invisible barrier?
Yep. The invisible barrier they are hitting is calculus.
And just to clarify for everyone, we aren't talking about advanced mathematics here.
Not quite. We established earlier that plaque is a soft, sticky film of bacteria.
The dust on the frame.
Right. But when that plaque is left undisturbed on the teeth for too long, and we're talking even just a matter of days, it undergoes a dramatic chemical transformation.
What happens to it?
Human saliva is naturally supersaturated with minerals like calcium and phosphate, which are meant to keep your tooth enamel strong.
Okay.
But when those minerals interact with the lingering bacterial plaque, they calcify the biofilm. They turn that soft, sticky layer into a hard, porous, rock-like substance known as calculus, or tartar.
Oh, wow.
And the harsh reality of calculus is that once it forms, your at-home tools are completely useless.
Really? Completely useless.
Yes, brushing cannot remove it, flossing cannot dislodge it. It is literally cemented onto the tooth surface, often sitting right below the gum line, harboring bacteria, and permanently keeping that immune system alarm triggered.
So what does this all mean? Let me make sure I have this sequence right, because this plaque to calculus pipeline seems to be the linchpin of the whole issue.
It absolutely is.
Plaque is essentially like wet cement on a driveway. If we catch it early, within that first 24 hours, we can sweep it away easily with a soft broom, which is our soft bristled toothbrush. We just sweep the wet cement right off into the grass. But calculus. Calculus is that exact same cement, but now it has been sitting in the sun and has completely dried and hardened.
That's a great way to visualize it.
At that point, our soft broom is entirely useless. You could sweep that dried cement all day, you could scrub until your arms fall off, and nothing will happen except ruining the broom.
The broom won't do a single thing to dried cement.
Yeah.
The mechanical properties have completely changed.
So to get rid of the dried cement, we can't just keep sweeping. We need to call in the professionals to bring in the jackhammers.
Exactly.
Which aligns perfectly with the clinical protocols provided by My Gentle Dentist Brookside. The literature shows that the only way to stop gingivitis in its tracks once calculus is formed is to undergo a professional scale and clean.
Yep, there's no way around it.
A clinical team has to use specialized ultrasonic instruments to physically fracture and remove that hardened layer because the patient simply does not have the tools to do it at home.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it perfectly illustrates the symbiotic relationship required to maintain the human body.
How so?
Well, the team at My Gentle Dentist Brookside comes in with the clinical expertise and the specialized tools, the jackhammers in your analogy, to break away the calcified irritants that you are physically incapable of removing. They clear the battlefield.
They reset the board.
Exactly. They reset the biological foundation of your mouth. But the very next morning, the calculus is gone, and you are back to dealing with wet cement.
Ah.
It is then entirely up to you to pick up that soft broom and make sure the new daily layer of bacteria never gets a chance to harden. It is the combination of gentle, precise daily maintenance at home, matched with targeted professional intervention when necessary, that forms the complete equation for resolving gingivitis.
It is a really elegant way to look at human health, honestly. We've covered a lot of ground today. We started by examining that incredibly common, almost mundane phenomenon of spitting out pink foam before bed. And what the science has shown us is that while seeing blood in the sink might be statistically common, it is a glaring biological warning sign.
It really is.
It is a sign of an active gingivitis infection, or of aggressive brushing tearing up fragile tissue, or of inconsistent flossing leaving your gums weak and unadapted.
All of the above.
And the cure is never scrubbing harder. The cure is upgrading your habits, switching to a soft brush, committing to the daily discipline of flossing to build tissue resilience, and recognizing that you occasionally need professional intervention.
Like a scale and clean at My Gentle Dentist Brookside.
Exactly. To clear out the hardened calculus, you just can't fight yourself.
And that leads to the most actionable takeaway for the listener. The next time you lean over that bathroom sink and you spot that familiar pink tinge swirling toward the drain, you have to actively resist the urge to just shrug it off.
Don't just go to bed.
Right? Do not dismiss it as a normal part of life. Recognize that your body is providing you with immediate, actionable data. It is a direct request from your biology, indicating that your daily routine needs an adjustment, or that it is time to seek professional care.
It's not just a minor inconvenience, it's a literal red flag being waved by your immune system.
It is, which raises an important question, something really worth analyzing long after you finish this deep dive.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Our bodies are equipped with these incredibly efficient, highly visible alarm systems, like bleeding gums, that are specifically designed to alert us when our habits are causing microscopic harm.
But we just tune them out.
Because everyone else in our social circle seems to experience the same thing, we just accept it as background noise. It makes you wonder,
What's the question?
what other subtle, common physical symptoms are you completely ignoring every single day, simply because everyone else around you seems to be ignoring them too?
Man, that is something to think about. Next time you see that pink in the sink, don't just turn off the light and go to sleep. Pay attention to what your body is actually